So for me, I was suffering with mental illness. Um, this caused a lot of dysfunction in my life. Um, I didn't understand what was going on, and neither did the people around me. So I kept a lot of that suffering to myself. You know, it was just something that I had to deal with. I would get on a medication or, go to a therapy for a little bit, and then I'd feel a little bit better and then think, okay, well, that must be it. That I'm better now, right? And that wasn't the case. Anywhere from 3 to 6 months later, I was back in this downward spiral, agonizing um, place where my quality of life was not good. Um, and so, therefore, I became suicidal. I convinced myself I was a burden to my community and my family and my friends. And, you know, that that's when I really found recovery. I fought really, really hard to get to that point of recovery. Um, and so when I think of recovery, to me, it's acceptance of my disorders, my illness, and then realizing I don't have to stay in that downward spiral. I can I can do better for myself. I can do better for the people around me and they can support me. And with the right path and with professional supports around me, I did find better. I found a lot better. Um, when I reached out to these programs and these individuals, they empowered me to live a better life. And so day after day, and sometimes it was minute after minute because, time is it's so obscure when you're in recovery. I would set myself up with these plans and these goals. And sometimes that goal was simply to take my medication or just to go outside and enjoy the fresh air and sip on a cup of tea. Um, just like mindfulness things. And those minutes and those days, they added up. And here I am 7 years later, and still recovering. I'll always be recovering. It's a lifelong process. But I can say I'm so much better for it and so much happier than I was. I went from making unhealthy choices and coping in survival mode to here I am thriving. And, you know, that's a wonderful thing. It's a really, really wonderful thing. And that's recovery. Sometimes there are setbacks and bumps and curveballs. Um, but recovery, for me, recovery allowed me to plan for those, that to expect them and to know that, even if you fall a step behind, you're still going 2 steps ahead. Recovering was setting myself up with a support system that not only cares and understands, but knows what it looks like when things fall apart for me, when things aren't quite right. And so before I get to that downward spiral, to that rock bottom, you know, I have a system that just connects me. And the most beautiful thing about recovery is that now, as a peer support specialist, people allow me to be a part of their support team. And I'm so grateful for that. It's a ripple effect, recovery is.